This is the indictment we've been waiting almost 3 decades for. Justice will be served.
A break tonight in the West Coast killing case that rocked the music world years ago. After 27 years, police now have the man they say is responsible for the death of rap icon Tupac Shakur. Las Vegas police say the suspect's public comments revived the investigation. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Coast Wrap. I'm Frank Malakote. Investigators showed off a photo of their suspect in custody this afternoon. They say Dwayne Keefe Davis ordered Shakur's 1996 shooting death in Las Vegas, but they don't think he pulled the trigger. Fox 5's Joe Vigil breaks down what investigators think led up to that killing.
Metro police say prior to the September 1996 shooting, Tupac Shakur had signed with Death Row Records, whose CEO was Suge Knight. Police say both were closely affiliated with the mob Piru street gangs and had an ongoing feud with the Southside Compton Crips. They say newly arrested Henderson suspect Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was the leader of the Compton Crips gang. A forward to the night of the shooting after the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM. Police say Tupac and Knight and other Death Row Records members saw Davis's nephew and kicked and punched him.
Little did anyone know that it is this incident right here that would ultimately lead to the retaliatory shooting and death of Tupac Shakur.
Pac and Knight got in a black BMW to go to a post-fight party, but word spread among the Southside Compton Crips of what happened at the MGM. Police say Davis then devised a plan to get a gun and go after Tupac and Knight. Police showed this diagram of where Davis and others were sitting in the front passenger seat of a white Cadillac. The group found the black BMW on Flamingo near Koval.
At some point in time, as they were in the white Cadillac, Mr. Davis took the gun that he had obtained and provided it to the passengers in the rear seat of the vehicle. They pulled up near the passenger side of that vehicle and immediately began shooting at Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur. Following that shooting, the white Cadillac fled the area southbound on Koval, and after our officers arrived on scene, Tupac was later transported to the University Medical Center, where he was treated medically and died approximately 6 days later.
And that was Fox 5's Joe Vigil reporting. For more insight about Tupac Shakur's murder arrest, we spoke to TMZ's Harvey Levin. He says what's very unusual is that the suspect confessed years ago to being part of the murder.
All of the dots connected a long, long time ago. So for whatever reason, authorities didn't think they had a lock on proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. I really can't explain that to you, why that is the case, but it sounds like they've really been on this, and it sounds to me like whatever they got from that search warrant may have made the difference.
Back in 2019, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis admitted in a memoir that he was in the Cadillac from which the gunfire erupted and ultimately led to Tupac's death. You can find flags flying at half-staff across the West Coast tonight, all to honor the life of California U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein. Country's longest-serving female U.S. senator died last night at her home in Washington, D.C. Tributes to Feinstein are pouring in on social media. Elected officials, celebrities, and more posting comments on how she blazed a trail in politics. KTVU's Tom Vakar shares the legacy Senator Feinstein has left behind.
California's first female senator and the Senate's longest-serving woman member, Dianne Feinstein, was San Francisco's first female supervisor in 1969 and its president 9 years later, becoming mayor a few months later when disaster struck.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
In a 1979 mayoral election, Feinstein defeated Supervisor Quentin Kopp. She championed healing the city, bringing people together after Jonestown and the assassinations, the contentious fight against AIDS, and getting qualified women and men in government.
Oh, I'm much more nervous than I thought.
In her office, she was all a Twitter about having just gotten married to Richard Blum.
I don't feel like a mayor. I feel like a woman that's just been married, who has a certain amount of nervousness and apprehension, and I'm very happy.
She was almost picked to be the first woman to run for vice president by candidate Fritz Mondale, choosing Geraldine Ferraro, who she wished well.
With Geraldine Ferraro goes my hopes, and I hope all of the hopes of the women of this nation.
In 1992, she was elected to the U.S. Senate, where she served until she died. Feinstein's signature piece of legislation, the assault rifle ban, lasted a decade and did reduce mass murders. But the pro-gun lobby, led by the NRA, made sure it would not be renewed, though she fought for a new ban ever since. She was a leading advocate of reversing global warming. She championed same-sex marriage.
Americans should be free to marry the person they love, regardless of sexual orientation or race.
Regretting that she had voted for the Iraq War, she blew the whistle on inhuman treatment of prisoners after 9/11.
Releasing this report is an important step to restore our values and show the world that we are, in fact, a just and lawful society.
Former TV political editor Randy Shandabu covered much of Feinstein's career.
I think her legacy is as a fierce fighter, stubbornly fierce. That's both a positive for her and in later years unfortunately became a negative because she held on to office too long.
But, says Shandabu, she really did do it her way.
There were some people in her own party, the Democratic Party, that didn't love her. They respected her, but they didn't love her because she wasn't liberal enough. She was centrist. A raging moderate, if you will.
We typically talk about members of Congress as either show horses or workhorses. She was a workhorse. She was not on the Sunday news every week. She was not somebody seen as a self-promoter.
And so I think that ability to reach across the aisle, to be able to find common ground with people was very, very important. It's the kind of thing you want in legislators.
She wasn't just a trailblazer, right, which is an important role, but she actually mentored generations of people who followed her, and she helped get elected. The current mayor of San Francisco, the current governor of California, elected officials up and down the state.
One other legacy. More than 40 years ago, it was Mayor Feinstein who found and fought for the $60 million needed to save those little cable cars that climb halfway to the stars. That's the equivalent of $250 million right now, and she fought for it tooth and nail. So from California, thank you, Senator, with a kiss and a farewell. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Thank you, Tom. The fate of Feinstein's open seat in the U.S. Senate is now in the governor's hands. He needs to appoint someone to replace her until her term ends in 2025. No word yet on when the governor will name a replacement. Well, people who have been demanding action be taken against a Seattle police officer who made insensitive comments about the death of a woman are seeing some results. A body camera captured Officer Daniel Otter joking about the death of a pedestrian who died after being hit by a patrol car. Seattle's police chief says the officer has been, quote, administratively reassigned to a non-operational position. Last week, a police watchdog group called for Otter to be suspended without pay. Otter says he was mocking attorneys when he made the comments, all caught on camera. Some GOP presidential candidates making an appearance in Southern California today will give their campaigns a boost. Former President Trump, who so far has refused to participate in debates, is among them. Fox 11's Alex Michelson shows us how they're helping to kick off California Republicans' fall convention.
Donald Trump makes a visit to Carvel Ice Cream in Westwood, and his fans are delighted by the sweet surprise. We're the only local TV station invited to ride in the motorcade from the GOP convention in Anaheim.
With Secret Service protection, the former president is able to shut down the freeway, which makes rush hour commute a whole lot easier.
On stage, a hero's welcome for Trump.
You guys look like the future of the Republican Party right here.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott talking up his presidential campaign in the afternoon. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis speaking to the evening crowd.
As I see the things that are being done in California, this is basically the petri dish for leftism in this country.
but a big chunk of this convention clearly loyal to Trump.
Why is it so important for you to see Donald Trump in person?
For me, it's like one in a lifetime.
I love the way he stands up for what he believes in, and he's fighting for us.
That was Alex Michelson reporting. The convention, by the way, runs through Sunday.
I'm so sorry, sir.
And they called me a liar. They're not nice people.
They've been talking about a myth that their homes are built on an old burial ground for years now, but no one took them seriously. Coming up, the new discovery in Southern California that may prove them right. And see how tonight's debut of a new addition to the Las Vegas Strip, raising the bar on what to expect from entertainment venues.
And in weather, some changes moving into Northern California and the Bay Area. They already have the clouds moving in, the possibility of some scattered showers, and this will cool off a good portion of the West Coast. We'll have more on your weekend outlook coming up.
A kidnapping investigation spans 2 West Coast states tonight. A couple out of Greenleaf, Idaho, is accused of kidnapping a boy in Phoenix, Arizona. Investigators say Matthew Rakowski and his wife Alicia worked together to abduct the boy. Child's mother reached out to police saying she believed Matthew Rakowski kidnapped her son. Investigators have not said why she suspected Rakowski was involved. They did find the boy with Alicia Rakowski. Matthew Rakowski has been held on a $100,000 bond. His wife has already been released after posting bail. And in Colorado, state troopers found nearly 300 pounds of cocaine just by performing a traffic stop. Multiple kilos of cocaine were found in suitcases, 290 pounds zipped up in a car. Around 3:30 a.m. Monday morning, a trooper pulled over a Chrysler minivan for a traffic violation. Trooper who was working with smuggling and a trafficking unit became suspicious of criminal activity and asked to search the vehicle. This all led to the arrest of 2 suspects who now face charges for intent to distribute and their efforts to transport that cocaine. Some Southern California homeowners say they have proof there's truth behind a decades-old myth. They believe their backyard sits right on top of a burial ground. Fox 11's Gina Silva shows us what they unearthed and how it could impact the future of that neighborhood.
My dad used to tell us, hey, there's a graveyard out there with like 17 people that are dead. And I'm going, yeah, right.
Jay Gould went digging for answers. And to the surprise of his neighbors, dug up a grave.
He's Jewish.
World War II veteran Earl Hoffman died on December 14, 1951. Jay says approximately 20 years ago, his neighbor was planting trees when he came across some graves. He contacted Jay, and both called the mayor of Lawndale.
He looked at us all and he says, you shouldn't say anything because they're going to destroy your property. They're going to do all kinds of stuff, and those graves should not be touched, ever.
No one said a word. Jay is the only survivor with that knowledge. So when Metro announced plans to build the Sea Line extension through their Lawndale neighborhood, Jay spoke up. But he says no one believed him.
And I don't lie. I don't drink. I can't do this.
I'm so sorry, sir.
And they called me a liar. They're not nice people.
For me, it's hard to see because Jay's been yelling about this for so long and nobody's taken him seriously.
We knew that there were internments through this area.
Residents had always heard rumors, but now they have proof, and they're hoping it will stop Metro from building the Sea Line extension through their neighborhood, which already has a freight line practically in their backyard.
They're trying to put a commuter train next to this freight line.
What they want to do is move the freight line closer to the west, which puts it closer to homes.
This berm that is 25 feet high right now is going to have to be moved right here, and the freight train that's currently on the tracks will be moved within 8 to 10 feet of homes. And if there is a freight train or a metro train that derails, it's going to fall and it's going to go right through homes and people are going to die.
Lawndale City Manager Sean Moore says Metro officials told him their records do not show any information of potential grave sites at that location.
It could impact the project. I mean, I have to defer to Metro on that, but they definitely need to probably have somebody come out and investigate that and look into this matter and see what the next steps are.
Here's the grave.
The discovery was actually made on Josh Standifer's property.
This is technically the right-of-way, and I'm hoping this young man will help us make sure that this train never comes through Lawndale, and we can leave him where he rests.
That was Fox 11's Gina Silva reporting. Metro representatives say the transit agency will adhere to provisions that were outlined in the California Health and Safety Code if human remains are found on Metro property. In a 4-1 city council vote in Ojai, California, the city becomes the first to recognize the legal rights of non-human animal. The ordinance outlines that elephants have the right to liberty and details how humans can face penalties for violating their rights. This was inspired by the elephant named Tara, who was made to roller skate for entertainment. She was the first resident of the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee, now recognized as the largest in the nation. Officials commend the council for passing a historic piece of animal rights legislation.
And some changes on the West Coast weather pattern, in the West Coast weather pattern over the next couple days. As you can see here, this cooler air, which has been kind of focused up in the Pacific Northwest, will be moving to the south. So a big impact on the weekend forecast for San Francisco, for the Bay Area, because we have the possibility of some scattered showers. It will be sunny out toward the east here, out toward Colorado eventually, and out toward portions of Nevada, or eastern Nevada, I guess you could say. And then we still have the warm pattern down toward Phoenix, but it won't be as hot because that cooler air will be moving in. Here's the satellite and the radar. So all week long, we've been talking about the heavy rain up in the Pacific Northwest. Still some scattered showers today in southern Oregon, but this cloud cover is moving into the northern parts of California, approaching San Francisco. So we are going to bring that shower chance closer to San Francisco, even Los Angeles this weekend, especially for tomorrow. Current numbers out there right now, it's 59 degrees in Eureka. As we check out Los Angeles, 68, 96 in Phoenix, and Palm Springs in the mid-80s, 85 degrees. Check in on the cameras up in Seattle today. You can see some cloud cover, but overall nice day. Temperatures on the cool side only in the upper 50s. And as you can see here coming up for Phoenix, still triple digits, 102 degrees, lots of sunshine, but temperatures will definitely be cooling off in Phoenix this weekend. And in San Francisco, the clouds definitely on the increase all afternoon, even some mist or some drizzle throughout the day. You can see San Francisco in the mid-60s. So here's the overall weather pattern out toward the Lake Tahoe area. They actually have the clouds moving in, and the rain and showers move, at least approaching the Bay Area. That could trigger some showers in the Sierra, but it's mainly higher elevation snowfall where we are talking about maybe a dusting of snow up above 8,000 feet. Here's the forecast model. It's picking up on the rain, moving into Northern California, approaching San Francisco for your Saturdays. So the possibility some scattered showers for tomorrow. You'll see even this action approaching Los Angeles, portions of Nevada out toward Reno, and then into Sunday. This activity begins to move out to the east, and overall things begin to dry out for the Sunday forecast. And as you can see here, the next 3 days with temperatures in up towards Seattle, temperatures in the 60s, cooling off into next week. Los Angeles, the possibility of some showers tomorrow, and then a break from the heat out toward Phoenix. Look at that into Sunday and Monday. No triple digits, no 90s. We're just thinking some 80s for that time frame. As you take a look at all these conditions, get ready because temperatures want to rebound next week. So it looks like we're feeling like fall in the short term, but another major warming trend headed toward portions of the West Coast into next week, and possibly a few areas hitting the lower 90s. So cooling and then warming. Frank.
All righty, Mark. Thank you for that, sir. Netflix final shipment of those DVDs goes out today from 3 distribution centers, including one in California. The company's red and white envelopes help put its brick-and-mortar competitor Blockbuster out of business. Even as the company started to focus attention on streaming, it kept its DVD rental service by mail program available to some customers. Fewer than 1 million people are still signed up for. Customers with DVDs on the way to mailboxes have been informed they're allowed to keep those discs. In less than an hour, someone has a chance to win a jackpot close to $1 billion. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is estimated at $960 million. The drawing is at 8 o'clock. The prize has grown so large because there have been 30 consecutive drawings without a big winner dating back to July 19th. Here in the West, Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, and Utah don't sell Powerball tickets. And by the way, that drawing is on Saturday night. A one-of-a-kind entertainment venue makes its debut on the West Coast tonight. Coming up, how it's setting some world records. And we'll show you what's being done in 2 West Coast states that give ecosystems near rivers a big boost. Stay right there. California and Oregon are working on a massive dam removal project to restore ecosystems along rivers. 2,000 dams have been taken down, most of those in the last 25 years. The goal is for 400 more miles of river to return to their natural flow by the end of 2024. Dams have been used to create hydroelectric power, but experts say they only produce a small percentage of local power. Officials say this huge project will benefit the land as well as local Native American tribes.
We want to stabilize the soil. We want to get things growing. We will also be helicoptering in trees.
The time that the dams were built and the area inundated, some of the land was taken by eminent domain, but our people were displaced from this area.
Once the dams are removed, Native American tribes plan to team up with the workers to plant 1 billion seeds, restoring the habitat there. Members of SAG-AFTRA's video game division have now voted overwhelmingly to strike and may soon join the studio picket lines. The workers include video game actors and performers, both performance capture and voiceover work. The union is not calling for picketing right now, but the vote allows the actors to walk out at any time. Their demands are similar to the film and TV actors. They want better pay, limits on the use of artificial intelligence, and more focus on workplace safety. Negotiations set to resume next week. SAG-AFTRA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers set to resume negotiations on Monday. Several studio executives plan to attend. While the talks are considered a major step towards getting the actors back to work, union members continue to show up on the picket lines. The striking actors are demanding include better pay for work on streaming platforms and limits on the use of artificial intelligence. Well, a hearing has been scheduled in the legal fight over the Pac-12 and its assets. Washington State and Oregon State say the schools that are leaving have forfeited the right to be on the board. Hearing will be in front of the same judge who granted a temporary restraining order to the two schools earlier this month. That decision kept the Pac-12 conference from meeting as a board. Hearing is scheduled for November the 14th. And a record-setting entertainment venue may make its debut tonight on the West Coast. Las Vegas Sphere is ready to greet concert crowds at 366 feet high and 516 feet wide. It's the world's largest spherical structure. It's covered with lights.